Hello everyone, welcome to Code to SD. In this video, we are going to discuss one array problem that is leaders of an array. Now, first let's understand the definition of this leaders of an array. So, अगर कोई भी एलिमेंट सारे एलिमेंट जो उसके राइट में है उससे बड़ा है then that is the leader of an array. So, any element in an array if it is greater than all its element to its right, then it is the leader of an array. So there should not be even element to its right which is equal to it. So that particular element should be greater to all its element to its right, then it is the leader of an array. So if we see in this given array, that is 3, 6, 9, 2, 6, 4, then we can see that 3 is smaller than 6, so it cannot be a leader of an array. Similarly, 6 is smaller than 9, so it can also not be a leader of an array. 9 is greater than all its element to its right, so it is a leader of an array. Similarly, 2 is smaller than 6, so it can also not be a leader. 6 is greater than 4, then 6 is also a leader, and rightmost element will always be a leader in all the array, as there will be no element to compare that rightmost element. I mean, there is no element to its right. So in all the input array, there will be at least one leader element. That is the rightmost element of an array. So in this given input array, we have 3 elements which are leaders of an array, that is 9, 6, 4. So that is our task, to find those leaders element in an array. So what will be our approach now? What can be the approach here? There can be multiple approaches to find these leaders of an array. We'll be discussing one basic approach, that is we'll be traversing this array with one for loop, and each element will be comparing to all its element to its right whether that particular element is greater to all its element to its right or not. If it is, we'll be printing that element. So this approach we will is a basic approach. Let's try to code in this basic approach first, and then we'll see what is the problem here, and we'll move to the optimized solution then. So now let's see the basic solution first. What I'll be doing, I'll be writing one method, say print leaders of array, and I'll be giving the array input and its length. So this will be this I'll be creating as a static method. So I can call it without object. So here I'll be getting what that integer array, which I'll be storing in ARR, and then length of an array. Now what I have to do is I have to traverse to the length of an array for each element one by one, right? So let's write the for loop for it. Now I have to compare. So this loop will be basically comparing, like for 3 it will be, then 6, then 9. Each element it will be iterating just to compare it with all its element to its right. So first it will be say at 3. Now 3 I want to compare to all its element to its right. So to traverse through all its element to its right, that is I need one more loop which will start from I plus 1. If I is pointing to 3, then it need to start from 6. So that means I need one more nested loop here, int j, which is starting from I plus 1, and it will go till the length of an array, that is m, right? Now what I need to do is I need to compare both the values. If array of I is less than equal to array of j at any point, if it is so, I need to break. We know that. Now what? Let's understand this very clearly. Say if I'll be comparing 3 to when I'll start comparing 3 to element to its right, that is first it will be comparing 3 to 6. So as soon as we see that array of I is less than array of j, that is 3 is less than 6, we don't need further comparisons for that 3 element for more elements after 6, right? Because once it is less than any element to its right, it cannot be a leader of an array, no matter if it is greater than the remaining element or not. So if we found this condition true at any point while executing of the nested loop, then we have to break this nested loop then and there only. So in that way, we'll save more iterations, right? We'll not do unnecessary iterations. So now, if if for 9, let's say 9 will be compared with 2, then 6, and then 4. So it will be compared with all the elements, and then this condition will not be true and any point for 9, right? So then we have to print it as a lead of an array, because if this condition has not got true during the execution of this nested loop, that means the given element which I was comparing, that array of I, is the lead of an array. So what I'll be doing is, after this nested loop, I'll be checking. So after this nested loop, that means the J nested loop has reached completed. That means J has reached to its end. So when this loop will be terminated, that means the value of J will be equal to what? The false condition of this. That means J will be equal to what? Here it will be J. So here J will be N when this loop will be completed. So after this, I can come check if J is equal to N. That means the nested loop has successfully completed. Now here, if you want to have the access of value of J after the loop completion, then that means we need to declare J outside this for loop conditions. So here we will be declaring outside J before that for loop conditions. So here we'll be having access of J. If J equal to N, that means inner loop has successfully completed. This condition has never occurred. That means the given element at the index I, which I was iterating, is the leader of an array. So we can print that element. That will be a result. That will be basically one of the leader element. So if you want to print it with a space in a single line, we can use system.out.print and we can print it. So this for loop will check for each element one by one, and will compare with the remaining element to its right. If this condition will occur true, the loop comparison will, not happen further for that particular ith index element. If this condition has not got true, then at the end of this loop, we'll check if J equal to N. That means the inner loop has successfully completed. We'll print that ith index element as a lead of an array. So let's try to run this program and see if we are getting the desired output or not. See, we are getting the desired output 964. So, but the problem with this approach is that we are using two nested for loops. So time complexity will be V of n square. But we want to solve this problem in the time complexity of V of n. So let's see the optimized approach. So now let's see the optimized solution for this problem. Now for the optimized solution, we want to avoid this nested loop. That means we want to avoid this, inner loop, right? Outer loop will be there, but inner loop, somehow we want to restrict to one loop, right? So what we will do, I'll comment this part of code first of all. Now let's understand what can be the possible solution for it. See, when we were iterating through that first loop, say for 3, I wanted to know whether 3 is greater than to all its element to its right or not. And when I was at 3, I was having no idea about the remaining elements. That is why we were writing one more for loop, nested for loop, so that we can compare this 3 with all the element, right? So here I have to compare this given element with all the element to its right, but till right I have not even traversed currently, so I'm having no idea about the values which are present to its right, right? So what if we traverse with the from the right side only? So if we traverse on the right side, we know that the last element will always be lead of an array. Okay. Now if we say we'll come at 6, we want to have an idea of only the 4, and we are traversing from the right side. So we have already encountered just 4, right? Now when we will be at 9, we want to have idea of the elements which are to its right, that is 264. And since we are traversing from the right end, we already have encountered this element 264, right? So we can store it, or I mean, we have encountered, we know we can somehow we can have handle of the way, like to have the uh, you know idea about the element which will be to its right. So traversing from right is first need, first of all. Secondly, if I'm saying for the 9, if I want to know if it is a leader of an array or not, then earlier what I was doing, I was comparing 9 with all the elements, that is with 2, then 6, then 4. Now, for this comparing with all the element, I needed nested loop. Now, if I don't want to use nested loop and I still want to have an idea if 9 is greater than all its element or not, then what I can do is, if 9 is greater than the maximum of this right side part, then it is greater than all its element. It is same thing. So if it is greater than the maximum of its right part, then it is a leader of an array also. So any element, if it is greater than the maximum of all the element which is to its right side, then it is a leader of an array. Since we are traversing from the right side, we can somehow have one maximum variable in which we will first store 4, and that will anyway be a leader of an array. Then as we keep traversing from right to left, we'll be checking anyway each element, and we can compare it with the maximum and can update the maximum. So at every point, at every index as we iterate from right to left, a maximum will be updated with the maximum element which is present till that part. I mean, if I'm at 9, then at this point in my maximum variable, I'll be having the maximum of all the element which is to the right of that 9, right? And with that only, I'll compare this 9. And if it is greater than that maximum, then 9 is a leader of an array, otherwise not. So that's a simple solution. That's a simple approach. So we need to traverse from right. Also, we need to have one maximum local variable in which we will keep updating as we traverse from right to left. So any element when we will traverse from right to left, we can just compare it with the maximum. In that way, we will not have to traverse. I mean, in that way, we will not need nested loop to compare any element with all the element one by one. So in that way, we will avoid nested for loop, and the time complexity will reduce to V go of n. So let's try to write the code for it. What I'll be doing is I'll be first of all I need first of all I need what maximum one local variable in which I'll store what array of last index value, that is n minus 1. Now this array of n minus 1 is also what lead of an array, so I can print that. So I can directly print a maximum now, because in maximum I'm having what array of n minus 1. Since I am printing with the spaces, I'll use system.out.print, right? Then I need to traverse an array from say n minus 2, n minus 2, n minus 1 is already a lead of an array. I have printed that. I need to traverse from n minus 2 to this 0th index. So I'll be doing that. I should be greater than equal to 0, I minus minus. And then what I'll be doing, at every point, I need to check if my array of I is greater than max, then I have to update my max. That is another thing, right? I have to update my max with array of 9. And now if I am at 9 here, I'll be checking it when I'll be at 9, my maximum will be what, 6. So if 9 is greater than 6, that means I'm updating max as 9 also, and also 9 will be lead of an array. I can print that also, right? I can print that. So I can print that 9, that is I can print max again. So earlier I printed the rightmost element. Now in the loop, I'll be checking if any element which is greater than the max, then that element will be lead of an array. So I'll keep printing that element with the space. So in this way, let's run this program and let's see if we're getting the desired output or not. say we are getting 4, 6, 9. So as we are traversing from right side, we are getting first 4 as leader of an array, then 6, then 9. But we have got that leader of an array elements. So this is the optimized approach. Here we are avoiding the nested for loops and we are using only one for loop. So the time complexity is big O of n, and space complexity is constant, as we have not used any data structure which is depending upon the size of input. We have just used the local variables. So I hope you got how we uh, approach this solution for this given problem leaders of an array. So if you have liked my video, please do like, share, subscribe this channel for more videos. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में एक नए कॉन्सेप्ट के साथ. तब तक के लिए बाय. थैंक यू.